Welcome to the June 27, 2018 Delhi Township Board of Trustee meeting. We'll begin our meeting tonight, as we always do, with a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's moment of silence is in memory of Henry Hoffmeyer, president of Hoffmeyer Plumbing, one of Delhi's longtime and successful businesses, and a 73 grad of Elder High School. Henry passed away suddenly on Sunday. He is survived by his wife, Carol, children Hank, Jackie, Abby, and Lindsay, 5 grandchildren, and his parents, Max and Angela. The prayers and support of the board go out to the family during this sad time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, everybody. Okay, we can start out with the approval of the minutes. Please, Mr. Luby.
Motion 2018-124, approve the minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting held on May 30th, 2018, and dispense with the reading.
I move motion 2018-124.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
Motion 2018-125, approve bills for payment.
I move motion 2018-125.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
Motion 2018-126, approve the payment of overtime for pay period ending June 19th, 2018.
I move motion 2018-126.
I second the motion.
All those in favor? Yes.
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 Motion passes. Mr. Luby, your fiscal officer report, please.
Resolution 2018-107, resolution approving purchase order obligations incurred on behalf of the township by the township administrator, authorizing payment of certain purchase order obligations and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I'll second the adoption of the resolution, please.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
As far as significant transactions since the last meeting, our June 14th payroll was $270,000. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Trustee correspondence, Trustee Seavey.
Yes, this is just a reminder to everyone that vendors and solicitors that are going door to door for business in the township must come first to our police station for a permit. Now, if you do not want people knocking on your door at all, then you need to get a sticker that says no solicitation. What you do is you stop at the police station, you register your address, and you'll receive a sticker for your door or front window to warn people that this is an address where there is no solicitation allowed. The people who get the permits also receive that list and are asked to please abide by our no solicitation rules. So there have been a few that have gone through and gotten permits. That's why a couple people have asked me. So there you go. Thank you.
And if they do come to your house and you have that sign, you call the police. Thank you. Trustee Davis.
Just some continuing dialogue with the residents back in Mount Alverno Estates. This has been the last few weeks. They brought up some concerns about people driving pretty fast through there. You notice they're coming in off of Mount Alverno, shooting up left into Greenwell into the subdivision back there. So they want to make sure everyone knows, please, 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 it's summer, you got kids playing, will you just slow it down? We've been working with our police chief, and the next step is to have one of the signs there, I believe, right, Chief, when it's available. I know both are sent out to be upgraded on the software. So those that are home that are watching back there, we're doing what we can do. And one of the questions or concerns was, well, when they see the police, and I know that it's pretty extensive. You guys have put in almost 10 hours of watching that area, and I think there was frustration on a couple of the residents because it's like, yeah, but when they see you, they slow down. Well, of course, as we all would, I think. Yeah. So, short of other things that would be a little bit more aggressive, I think, then we probably wouldn't want to do that. But at least they are feeling the presence there, and the residents are very appreciative of that. There's always concerns in every subdivision, and I know we get calls galore from many different residents asking for the same, could you please? So we knock them off as best we can, and when there's high volume and when there's several complaints like that, I think we do try to address it pretty well. So thank you for your time and your department for putting in on that. The second part is I was thrilled to be at the management team meeting a week or so back, and Ron, you brought it up then, and I'm glad you brought it up because I'm going to talk about it for just 30 seconds, or it's the lights, which I got to enjoy again tonight as I was sitting at that intersection of Mount Verno and Delhi Pike across from Frisch's, myself and 18 other cars on that bend. And then people trying to get into the liquor store, and as you know, that goes, and then people trying to get into the shopping center. I know that the thought is, well, we have the lights timed, and it's a county issue, by the way. This isn't township regulated, and I know you've been talking with them. So those people at home and those people that we see, we're looking at it, we're addressing it, and trust me, I go through it every time I come to that intersection. And then when the light finally does turn, I make a left and come to Delhi at Anderson Ferry, and then get to sit at that light also, because they got that timed, and then you have the turn arrow. So I'm fine with it, but I can just see the ones around me where it's just like, oh my gosh. So I'm not sure what the answer is. That's half of it. The other half is that you're sitting, waiting at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and there's turn arrows going, and there's no cars turning. So just something for the residents to know. We're looking at it. Another question came up about Wendy's. Wendy's is not closed so much. They're just remodeling, redoing. They do have a little shack back behind there that you can, I think, still get burgers. Thank you.
A food truck.
It's like a food truck, thank you, yes. So they do have still business back there, so if you have to get that sandwich, they are still open. But again, it's improving the Pike, it's making things look nice, so hopefully when that's finished, it will. So we thank you for that. And the last point is, we had a blast at Rapid Run Fest on Sunday. It's just nice, but it's a nice reminder also that it's festival season, people are out on the street, so please be careful, be smart, and be safe as you're driving. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Some of you may have seen a white fire truck in Delhi recently, as I did, and said, oh, what's going on here? We did have 2 trucks in repair, and it was a loaner, and I know the chief really likes those white trucks. But are they both back now? One's back. Do we still have the white? Okay, the white one's gone, so they're our own trucks now. But anyway, and then secondly, I would like to congratulate fellow trustee Cheryl Seavey. She was appointed to attend the State of Ohio Institute, John Glenn College of Public Affairs at the Ohio State University, July 16th to the 20th. So it's wonderful to be nominated to attend that, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Bring back all the good stuff.
I will.
All right, thank you. Okay, we can move on then to public hearing, please, Mr. Luby.
Motion 2018-127, approve the opening of the 2018 Delhi Township Tax Budget Public Hearing.
I move motion 2018-127.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Do we have any discussion on this, Mr. Luby, or?
Just want to say that the tax budget, it's just an annual exercise that we're required to go through each year. It's required by Ohio Revised Code, just to make sure that we have adequate funds and revenues to support our expected expenditures for 2019.
All right, thank you. No other questions? Mr. Luby?
Okay.
Next motion, please.
Motion 2018-128, approve the closing of the 2018 Delhi Township Tax Budget Public Hearing.
I move motion 2018-128.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
motion passes, hearing closed. Administration, please.
Resolution 2018-108, resolution adopting tax budget for fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2019, pursuant to Revised Code 5705.28, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
Mr. DeLong, did you have anything? Okay. I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-109, resolution authorizing participation in the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation Group Retrospective Rating Program and Unemployment Consultation Program with the Ohio Township Association, effective January 1st, 2019, utilizing CareWorks Comps as its representative, authorizing the Township Administrator to execute and submit all required participation documents, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
The only thing is, it's just a third-party consultant that we use to help us maneuver through the ever-so-confusing workers' comp process through the state of Ohio. So we've used CareWorks in the past, and they've been very good to work with, so we're going to continue that relationship with them.
Thank you.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes?
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Parks and Recreation.
Resolution 2018-110, resolution entering into an agreement with the Delhi Skirt Game Committee for use of Delhi Park for its 2018 annual charity event, authorizing the park director to execute the agreement and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
Not really, unless you had any questions. It's the same contract, just different dates.
Same contract?
Yep.
Okay.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Fire Department.
Motion 2018-129, approve the promotion of Nicholas D. Morrow from part-time firefighter EMT to part-time firefighter paramedic at the rate per the collective bargaining agreement with the Delhi Firefighters Association, effective June 28th, 2018.
I move motion 2018-129.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Morrow. You have anything to say about it, Chief? Okay. Nothing for Public Works tonight, nor the Police Department, so we'll go right to Community Development.
Motion 2018-130, accept and acknowledge receipt of an appeal filed by Paul Schoenecker to Resolution 2018-101 involving property located at 369 Don Lane and scheduling a public hearing at the request of the applicant on July 11th, 2018 at 6 p.m.
I move motion 2018-130.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
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 Motion passes.
Resolution 2018-111, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 590 Greenwell Avenue and dispensing with second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on the resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Yeah, as you can see on the photos, 590 Greenwell Avenue, there is excessive vegetation. It is in the rear yard of the property. We did do an inspection of the property this morning. It is still in the same condition as you see in the photos, so we do request you declare it a nuisance.
All right.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-112, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 519 Mantola Avenue and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Yes, this is a property at 519 Mantola Avenue. It is a vacant property. The neighbors have, over the course of many years, kind of been maintaining this property, but they have not been doing it this year, kind of at our request. We don't always encourage people to trespass on other property. Let us take it through the process that we have in place here. So as you can see, they've left some of the property unattained or unmanaged, and so we went out, did an inspection this morning. It is still in that same condition, so we do request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-113, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 4271 Paul Road and dispensing with second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I will second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Yeah, as you can see, based on the photos on this property, the front of the property looks very well maintained, but the backyard is not. So we always like to remind people, we can see your backyard too. So we did do an inspection of the property this morning. It was in the state of the condition as you see in the photo on the left. So we do request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-114, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation and accumulated debris at 4425 Clover Hill Terrace and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Yeah, during an inspection this morning of the property, the yard had been mowed, but it still was not to a proper standard for the township. So we are going to maintain keeping the excessive vegetation as a nuisance on this one. And that sofa was still out by the street as of this morning. So we do request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Okay, I have no submissions for citizen comments, so we'll go into announcement of community event. Sorry. Yes, ma'am?
This is our first time coming to a meeting. We didn't know we had to announce it.
Okay, would you like to sign a green form, please? And thank you, Janet. You'll be given 5 minutes to speak. Do you have a timer? I don't have my clock. We basically need name, address, and what you're going to talk about. Thank you, Mr. DeLong. It was going to be a record meeting.
Close.
Right. You almost made a record. You almost set a record on time for meeting. Oh, well, yeah, I wasn't going to do. Okay, thank you very much. Oops, excuse me. Okay, so Chris Papner, 5004 Chantilly Drive. Okay, and you'll come up to the podium, please. And like I said, you'll have 5 minutes, please.
Basically, I live at 5004 Chantilly Drive, and 5010 is my neighbor, which I don't know if you guys are aware of the situation there. I'm trying to come to a resolution of this. My kids can't go out and play because of this house. They're throwing garbage in my yard. I found a shard of glass this big in my pool, a chunk of concrete that big in my pool, and a piece of drywall that big with a burnt pencil. They're removing, I'm currently working on my deck, and they're removing wood off of my deck, throwing it in their yard and my yard. Actually, this morning I got off work. I'm a firefighter, so I got off early this morning, and they had a bike stashed in the woods, or in the, what do you call it, the brush. It was shoved all the way back in the brush. There's debris thrown all over the yard. They've knocked windows out of the house. We have our pool, and my kids can't swim in my pool because they hang out the back windows of the house and holler things at them. They're hitting on my 10-year-old and my 8-year-old. These are 15 to 20-year-old kids. The cops are there once, twice, sometimes 3 times. They were just there at 4 o'clock this morning. And I'm not usually one to complain at all, but this is becoming a problem. And my kids their whole summer is pretty much gone because I can't let my kids out my front door, nor can I let them out my back door because they hang out the back window and just holler at them. My yard is littered with trash. I found 4 packets of ramen noodles open, thrown in my yard. They throw bars of soap I found in my yard, and it's just, I don't feel like it's something that I should have to put up with. I understand, like we go through these nuisance laws and all this stuff and everything. If your grass is too tall and that's a problem, then I believe that this should be an issue that should be addressed also. and they're also some of my neighbors too. We kind of got together, and from what I'm told, it's a home for like troubled youth is what it is, and it's like a rehabilitation home for them. I get they need help. I understand that. That's fine, and I appreciate what these people are doing, but I don't believe that my family should have to suffer for this, you know, and on top of, they're not really getting any help. There's no adult supervision at this house. They come by once or twice a week, yell at them for a little bit, call the cops on them, and then they leave. So they're not really doing anything to rehab these kids in my mind. I don't know what they're doing outside of the house. I don't ever see the kids leave the house, really. They're usually all day.
They're not supposed to be out of the house without adult supervision. It's stated in one of the 33 police incidents that we have
Right.
since October. So it is very alarming, and as he said, sitting here listening to vegetation nucences is
Yeah.
is
Would
pretty
you
upsetting.
speak into the
Yeah,
mic?
yeah, I'm
Because we
not-
want to record. Okay, that's your 5 minutes. Now she has 5. Okay.
It is a group home. Unfortunately, we would like to be able to consider people our neighbors, okay? Chris and Judy are awesome neighbors. When they moved in, they made everybody in the neighborhood step up their game. Their landscaping and everything. We have empathy for these kids, you know, but it's a group home and nobody lives there. There's no resident there. You know, we can't go and talk to the owner of the house. Doesn't even live here. He owns the house, and it's a group home, and it's very upsetting. As he said, his kids cannot play outside, and we're just really upset. And it took a very good street, and it has really, really ruined it, to where when we come home, and you don't see the kids outside playing anymore because they're too afraid. And it's just not right.
Coincidentally, were we not having this conversation earlier?
Yes, yes. Chief, can you, and...
Yeah,
and-
I've kept them abreast of the situation, and I couldn't imagine living, honestly, on the street because it's frustrating for my officers because we're constantly, as you can tell, there, and I forget since April 1st how many times we've been there.
33.
Yeah,
3 times in the past 24 hours yesterday.
right. So be assured, us as law enforcement, we're doing what we can. Now, there are some things in talking to the individual that's in charge of this group home. These are children, grown, not adults, but teenagers that have troubled youth, and they're from Butler County, and they're put here, placed in this house.
And we feel awful for them. They do. They have nothing to do. We see them out there. They're just sitting. They're chipping away at their driveway. We actually have a large rock in our car that we didn't bring in they're constantly throwing them across the street, you know, various things. You know, we definitely would like to see a solution for the kids, because ultimately we do feel bad for them that they don't have parents that are taking care of them. But at the same time, why are we paying the price? Because we go to work, we're responsible, we have a great street, and we do look out for each other, you know, and you know, we're all thinking about, do we need to leave Delhi? You know, we chose to live here, and I don't want to have to choose to leave here, you know, because we're concerned about our street that we invested in, that we put all this money into and made home improvements. And we, you know, you're not going to call us for vegetation, you know, not cutting our grass. You know, we're out there spending money in the communities, you know, at Robin Florist and wherever, and we're buying landscaping, and we're putting plants out and flowers and keeping the weeds, you know, and you know, we're talking across the fence, and, you know, anyway. Thank you for listening, and I just really hope that you guys can do something about this. I would like to enjoy going home again.
Madam President, may I ask a question?
Sure, sure.
Stace, would you come back over for a second? I just have a couple of quick questions.
Stacy
You may
or
or may not know, I live 2 streets away, so it is a front burner thing for all of us, but I pass there every day, so I'm with you. One of the things that we did over on our street, not so much because of what you're dealing with there, but just because it's the new thing, are the cameras at your house, the ringer, which picks up everything. So when there's movement in your driveway and your phone will ding and you can look out. But I think that's going to have to be something to where, and I know, I have no doubt in my mind, these are frequent flyers and you guys are there all the time, but it also helps when you have something to say, here's what it was, here's who did it, and you have right here on film. That's going to help these guys tremendously in the court system to actually do something compared to say, well, one of them did. I would just do it. I would go and get one tonight, tomorrow morning, and have it, and have everything starting to be filmed, so that way you're all working together, all of you. Is that 5005, 5004, and 5, yeah. Good.
So you're
Perfect.
recording.
And get your neighbors, tell them too, this is something, because Chantilly's great. My cousins all grew up on Chantilly, the Roughings. And I mean, I remember going over there. That was where we went to trick or treat. That's where it was always fun. And I know exactly what you're saying. Or even just driving down the street sometimes thinking, where are they going? As I'm sure your guys do too, thinking, and you can't just randomly stop somebody, but you do raise the eyebrow like, okay, that just doesn't look good. I mean, 2 + 2 = 4, they're up to something, or, but I would do that first thing, and I would get your neighbors to get the cameras going. No, I don't have any stock in the ring or anything, but it's a great system, and it comes right to your phone, and it is always recording, and that's huge. So you've got something, and you can see exactly who did it and when it happened, and then how that piece of concrete got thrown in your pool, or the wood got taken from your deck, or...
And that is unfortunate that we don't even know, our neighbors, we know who's coming and going. I mean, we have no idea who the employees are, who's watching the kids, who's supposed to be what kids are even there. Is it, okay, that's the one little guy, like, we don't know anything.
Right. This is to secure your property, to secure your neighbor's property. You're not going to be able to do much about that property there, because it is an absentee landlord, obviously, and these kids are from Butler County. They could care less, probably, and that's unfortunate, because the whole goal is to try and help them rehabilitate and to get back into society and to be able to actually be a nice contribution to it. So, but not like that, and you're absolutely right, and I'm sure we would all agree, you should never have to live that way, and that's not how we live out here in Delhi.
So Chief, there's not a supervision person there?
I mean, the way I understand, we've had some issues. We actually spoke to the person in charge of the home
That doesn't live there?
2 weeks ago, right, at the last meeting that's in charge of this, to let him
And
know.
where are they located?
I'm assuming Butler County.
And why did they come to
And why are they,
Hamilton?
that's my question. Does Hamilton County send our troubles and our issues to other counties?
Can't answer if they do or not, I don't know. The owner of the home lives in Kentucky, the LLC.
The owner lives in Kentucky, the residents are from Butler County, and
don't
they're
know
living in
anything.
Hamilton County. And they're probably being subsidized for their living from Butler County.
I can't answer those questions, I don't know.
But anyway, so
And when we spoke
to the owner.
When we spoke to the individual that's in charge, almost like, I guess, a Job and Family Services
Okay.
through Butler County, understands the situation. Now, I would probably have to say I disagree. I think there's somebody living there 24 hours a day, and they're not adults. They're all under age 18. And there's
That's in
somebody there.
supervisory position.
Correct. Right. There at the house. Now, it's not the same person every 24 hours. They're in shifts, so they'll be there for 8 hours, then there'll be another one for 8 hours, and there'll be another one for 8 hours. But there is adult supervision, somebody there. Unfortunately, they can't always control the
You're using that
individual.
word loosely, excuse me, I don't mean to be rude.
And that's true. I mean, they can't, unfortunately, we've dealt with these kids. I mean, we had them in the lobby yesterday, a missing person, where one of them ran away. The other ones came to the station with the individual to make the report, and as we were taking the report, the one ran out the door. So we had 2 missings.
So, Ms. Blair, I believe you said that they're not supposed to be outside the house? But they are?
I have that highlighted here. It does say in here that Felix Moore is from Butler County.
I believe they all are
They all are what?
from Butler County.
Okay, but I mean, she had made the statement they're not supposed to be outside the house. But
Yeah,
I'm hearing things going on in the yard, so they're outside of the home. They're not sequestered inside.
I don't believe so. I think they're even got permission to be off the residence
They
property.
are allowed to be.
I believe so.
This one says, however, they are not allowed to be outside without supervision. It's stated in,
And
Like a
since-
definition of their
reports.
supervision.
That's one of our reports. That's not from
Yeah.
up there.
like you said, that the question there is, if it's somebody under 18 that's in charge?
I'm sorry?
I thought you said somebody under 18 was in charge.
No.
I'm sorry.
She may reference that there are some of them maybe over 18, 19, 20 years old.
Oh, okay,
They're
I'm
all
sorry.
juveniles. They're all under
juveniles.
18, all
Okay,
four of
So
them.
the person in
four
supervision is
individuals.
over.
Correct.
They are an adult.
They're an adult.
yeah, we see one person there over the 4.
Right, that oversees these 4 boys.
There's 4.
Now, when I made the call and we talked to them 2 weeks ago Wednesday, because I thought this would occur last Wednesday or 2 weeks ago, the meeting, he said he's working on 2 of them. 2 of them are a lot more problems than the other 2. He's working on getting them out, actually, and placed in another residence, because he knows there's issues going on. He also provided a cell phone number, which was provided, whether he's answering or not. He says, anytime they have any problems, have them please call my cell phone number and let me know what's going on.
I understand, and I have a big issue with that.
Okay.
I do. I shouldn't have to call him. They're in my neighborhood in a residential area, and again, to me, it seems like it's a zoning issue. If this is a business, why should I have to call him? We're talking to you guys.
Yeah, and we show up and we'll do our job and do the best of our ability. We got our hands tied. No, trust me, we would like to eliminate this problem. It's a lot of resources.
Here's my problem. I'm a firefighter. Every 3 days, I'm gone 24 hours. I have a wife and 4 kids in that house. There's 3 little girls and my wife, okay, and a little boy that's not going to do anything. He's 3. So I leave this house. They know I leave this house every 3 days. For 24 hours, I'm gone. They know I don't come home. They're not stupid. They are smart enough to know my truck is gone every 3 days. I call them. I called today about that bike because I hate a thief more than anything, and I'm pretty sure they stole the bike because it's stuffed inside the bushes underneath. Why else would you stuff a bike? Not to mention it's about a $400 bike, and I'm not judging anybody, but these kids can't afford a $400 bike. I'm sorry, they're not. Okay, so I called. I said, hey, this is what's going on. They're going to know I called on them. They know I saw the bike. I took a picture of the bike. I probably have them on my cameras pushing the bike in the bushes, to be honest with you. And I also told that the lady that runs the house, or whoever it was that stopped by, that one lady that stops by every once in a while, she pulled the bike out of the bushes and put the bike in the garage. Didn't say anything to anybody. So, therefore, this is what I'm saying. They're not getting any help because they just do whatever they want, and this adult that stops by holds them accountable for nothing. They're stealing cigarettes off people's porches. They go inside of my house, smoke their cigarettes, throw their butts in my yard. I mean, it's an absolute nightmare. And I can't see how this is even legal to do this. I
Okay.
cannot.
I do want to ask Mr. DeLong to clarify the statement that this is a business. Mr. DeLong?
It gets really dicey determining whether or not these are truly businesses because there's not a business operating out of it.
Right.
From a zoning side
know
of
how they
things.
work it. I know
Yeah,
how they work
and this is how they work it everywhere. I've dealt with this in every community.
Property is owned by Blue Tides.
Yep, but they
So
just
it's
place,
basically a rental house.
Yeah.
That they're sending to these kids, and these kids are employees of that company.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
and it's, every community goes through this,
Right.
and they will put residents in homes. You don't have a family definition anymore, so you can't, which is the unrelated thing, so there's no limitation
Right.
on
They can do
that.
whatever they want in the house,
Right, so it becomes, it's just basically a house that becomes,
But in my mind,
unfortunately,
it's a house for teenage
yeah,
frat parties.
yeah, and by zoning, we can't regulate who lives in a home.
Right.
Now, if we can look into possibly group home regulations, but that's not going to fix the problem when this is an existing thing because you can't shut it down.
Well, it could stop future problems.
It could
if
stop
we look-
future ones. And we
So I
have
think
actually
we-
quite-
If this is happening now,
Right.
it's not going to go away. I think we need to look to how to resolve it in the future. Not only the fact that, it's destroying our neighborhoods and our good, great residents, but it's also taking up time from our police department. And I
consumed a
mean,
lot of resources.
there's a lot of reasons here that we need to go forward to finding out how to deal with this dicey issue. Because I got an address that doesn't even match the address you gave as an issue. So there's at
I
least,
know there's 3 of them in Delhi.
well, I found 2 tonight, so there we go. But,
Owned by Butler? Are they all Butler?
Yeah, they're all owned by Blue Tides. I know they're owned by the Blue Tides. I know of 3 of them. I work with one of the firefighters at Delhi, and he does the inspection. He told me there's 3 of them.
okay, so
But he said
Chief,
the one's not a problem.
Chief, you talked to somebody in Butler, was it like, health and Children's Services or,
Yeah, this individual oversees the people that come and,
well, does
House
this
sit,
individual
whatever you
want to
wanna call
hear from us that the people that they're sending to supervise are doing a lousy job?
I would love for the board to contact them, to be honest with you.
I think that's.
I mean, I don't think they're listening from our
If they're saying
standpoint.
they've got a supervisor, yeah, and that you've seen somebody there, okay, they're doing a lousy job.
That's my thing. The kids aren't getting any help at all. There's
Kids
no-
are doing a
if they
lousy
were
job.
honestly getting
They're,
help,
they're there to learn life skills. I get it, the group home thing. They're there to learn life skills, but they're not.
They don't have to take care of the house. They don't have to cut the yard. I mean, they don't do anything around the house except terrorize the neighborhood. That's about the only thing they do. And my biggest thing, like I said, my biggest thing is my family. I'm going to protect my family. I know you guys can't do, anything beyond what you can do. And I know the cops are doing everything they can do. They're there every time, and I get that. I work with cops all the time. A lot of times your hands are tied. I get it. But the fact of the matter is, my children fear every day to go home. My wife stays up all night long when I work because she's terrified to go to bed because somebody's going to break in the house or they're going to do, she's just terrified of these people, and you shouldn't have to live like this. So therefore, I will protect my family and do whatever I have to protect my family. And this kid is hanging out the window, hitting on my 10-year-old and my 8-year-old. I will not stand for it again. So, the next time he says something, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's.
Well, don't do anything.
Call the police again.
Yeah, you'll call us.
Yeah, call the
We'll make
police.
the
Honestly,
we'll make the
cops can't do
34th
anything
run.
about- You guys can't do anything about that. He didn't make an actual threat. He didn't touch her. He didn't do anything. They can't do anything. But I will not. I'm not going to stand there and take that. It's not going to happen. My job as a father and a husband is to protect my family, and that's what I'm going to do.
Well, you're on record, so.
I'm not saying anything aggressive or anything. I'm just saying I'm going to do what I have to protect my family. And if it means move my family out of Delhi, that's what I'll do.
Well, we don't want to see that happen.
We don't want to move.
Right, you shouldn't have to. You have a commitment from the board that we will contact the company or whoever the contact that Chief has.
I'll make sure I get that to you.
And we will,
Butler, I just know it's Blue Tide's property, or Blue Tide's.
So you didn't receive his phone number?
I have that
Moore.
Felix Moore's guy.
Felix Moore,
But
okay.
like I said, if I call him, then they yell at the kids, they piss the kids off, and then I gotta leave for 24 hours. for those
Felix,
kids.
Mr. Moore has a
You know what
boss too. He's not the top one, so.
I've tried everything I can to keep my name out of it, and that's not happening. They know I'm the one, I'm part of the ones.
And unfortunately, that is to where it's at. Like,
Right.
we don't want to say anything, and,
Right.
you are fearful to say anything, on
retaliation.
record, but,
But something's gotta be done. It's just, I can't keep living like this. This is, it's not fair to me and my family and these guys and everybody. Like she said, we keep up everything nice and neat, and we had a really quiet community that, the kids ran up and down the street, they all,
Right.
kids
it
play,
was,
and
it was
Yeah.
great,
enjoyed
it
it.
was great watching.
My husband
the
grew
kids
up over
play.
there, yeah.
I've grown up in Delhi my whole life.
Yeah.
So,
Mr. Lane, do you know of anything? I'm sure you have to research it. Can you check into this?
Not really beyond what we talked about, you got police issue, zoning issue, it's a permitted use. They're just doing it as a very, very bad permitted use. I think at least the next step would be for whoever you're going to have, try to contact somebody at the agency who might be able to step in and deal with it. I'm sure they have the ability to pull the kids out, or some of the kids, or whatever, whoever the problem kids are.
Okay, thank you.
We're all very apologetic and sorry that you're dealing with this. And thank you to the Delhi Police for doing what you're extended to do, all right, as far as you can take it. And I guess, Madam President, it's now on our plate.
It is on our plate, right. And just for your information, it's the first we've heard of the issue within the past week, even before you came. It's the first we've heard of it.
That's what we figured, that
Yeah.
it hasn't got to you.
The police knew and everything, but it's
I've been over there.
becoming cyclical now, and that's why it was brought to our attention that, in fact, there was an issue. So it's not that we're sticking our heads in the sand, we really are just newly advised.
No, that's fine, and that's why we just decided to get together and bring it up to you guys.
We
I appreciate
you
y'all
being.
coming up.
Yeah, yeah.
And it wasn't that,
Oh, no, trust me. Handle a
Very
lot more.
frustrating. This has been
Yeah, I
going on
can
since
only
8
imagine.
months.
Actually, we have a group home behind us, but it's older handicapped
You know,
women,
I
and they're
wouldn't mind
very,
it if they just kept themselves,
very different,
or,
yeah,
you know,
right,
they were
very
good
different
kids, I'd go out
situation.
there and toss football with the kids, but
yeah,
We agree.
but you can't.
Yeah.
it's not
It'd be
that
nice,
situation.
Right.
It's not gonna
Right, yeah.
We had a few years back now, I don't know if you were on then, but back in Delshire where there were some real nasty issues going on. And Delhi was real good because that was a front burner and they flushed them out really good. So don't ever hesitate, and everyone at home too, don't ever hesitate calling 911. I don't care if it's 330 times. If there's something going on, get them there quick. Absolutely, and that way keeps you away from the illegal 8-ball, if you know what I mean. It keeps you out of it and let these guys do their job. You got film or something else, that's even better. It's a great tool.
I put up 8 cameras, they'll be done Saturday.
Perfect, and I would tell your neighbors too.
Covers their house,
Yeah.
everybody's house, so.
Yeah,
It's a shame that you have to.
yeah,
5004, if you need it, you call me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so the bike going in the bushes, you wouldn't have that today?
I'll check.
Okay.
I'll check when I get I set it all up and something's not, it only records every once in a while, so let me check when I get home.
And I mean, naturally, we would have to find out that that's a stolen bike before we could accuse them.
Well, that's why I called.
Get a
I
report.
know it's a gray bike, and
Yeah.
I know she pulled it. She didn't see her pull it out, but I seen it in there when I was picking up all the stuff they pulled off my deck.
Yeah, the report will come sooner or later. We'll get a report on it. Good.
Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
Apologize
Thank
for your situation. We really, truly do. All right. Then I guess we can move on to announcement of community events, please.
The Free Friday Fishing at Clearview Lake is open now through September 28th. It goes from 7 a.m. until dusk. It's at Clearview Lake at 5125 Foley Road. The Delhi Farmers Market is open every other Saturday. The next date is July 7th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., and that's at Clearview Lake at 5125 Foley Road. The 29th Annual Rollin' on the River Charity Car Show, presented by the Riverview Delhi Kiwanis Club, is Sunday, July 22nd. Registration is at 8 a.m. and it goes till noon. Awards will be at 3 o'clock at Fernbank Park.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Can I add on to that? Also, Saturday before, there's Roaring on the River, and it's going to be a motorcycle fundraiser for City Hope. So if you're into motorcycles, come down the day before. Sorry.
The concert in Delhi Park featuring Sapphire Express is Thursday, July 12th at 7 p.m., and it will be at Delhi Park at 5125 Foley Road. That's all I got.
Check on that food.
And I was going to say, we having food that night? Yes? Okay, very good.
Who said yes?
Dan in the back.
Okay, Danny,
In the back.
we've got you on that list.
All right. All right. Ready to adjourn the meeting, please?
Yes, with no further business to be brought before this board, I move we adjourn.
second motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Next regular meeting is Wednesday, July 11th, 6 o'clock, same place. Everybody have a great 4th of July. Safe 4th of July, and please, fireworks are against the law in Ohio.